Welcome to the Jeremy and Andy Talk Movies podcast. We're back after a little bit of a prolonged break because...
Not our fault.
But yeah,
it's Mother Nature's.
Very snowy where we are.
Yeah.
Things closed down. I was supposed to start back at school on Monday. We had 2 extra days off, so this is the first time we've been able to get together and do this. We, of course, being myself, Jeremy.
And me, Andy.
Yes.
In 2025 for the first time?
2025. That is crazy. Yeah. It has such a nice ring to it, though. 2025.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, I definitely feel old because I don't know. I was thinking earlier today, like, I remember it turning 2000 and just being like 2025 sounded like a million years away.
Yeah. It's like something like a futuristic movie you'd watch when it would be 2025.
Yeah, exactly. And you just think to yourself, man, 2025, I'm going to be an old man. And here I am.
Here we are.
I was correct. I'm an old man.
We're old men, but we're loving the podcast. Excited to start a new year.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And maybe my favorite thing going in life right now is just watching movies and coming here and talking about them with you, Andy.
It so helps just the winter dullness and cold and dark and everything else.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So today we are doing what's kind of our annual tradition now.
Yeah, got to do it.
We begin the year by recapping the previous year, talking about all our favorites and worst and mids.
That was so fun.
And then looking forward to the coming year and saying, what are we excited about?
Yeah.
What movies are we looking forward to? And also, got some notes of movies that I will not so much be looking forward to, just because we like to get both ends of the spectrum.
We do.
We like to be fair and balanced here.
We do.
On the podcast. Also, keeping up with tradition on this pod, we like to be off the cuff, so we have not talked beforehand about how we're going to structure this at all. So we'll be figuring that out on the go.
We just wing it.
I kind of just categorized mine as like most excited.
Yeah.
And then, a little less excited, but still pretty excited. Mediocre excited. Then I have a list of like, could be something.
I'll see it. And yeah.
And then I've got like, nope.
Hard no.
So, and there's of course plenty of movies that are not listed on here because as you look through the list of movies that are coming out this year, really, I mean, most of them you're looking at and going, I don't know what that is even enough to have an opinion on.
To know if I'm excited or not,
so we talked about this last year. There's going to be a lot of franchise movies, sequels and stuff because those are things you at least have an association with enough to just see a title and go, okay,
I know what that is.
I know how to have some feeling about this, positive or negative.
Yep.
And for that reason, let's figure we'd start with the high end. Let's start with what we're most excited about. And Andy, I feel like there's one movie that you and I probably both pinpointed as like super psyched about it, near and dear to our hearts here on this podcast.
Mission Impossible. The Final Reckoning.
I'm
so excited. I was so bummed when it got because it was supposed to be 23 Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, 24 Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 2, and I don't even honestly remember what happened. Was it just still holdover from the strike?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they pushed it back a whole year. They've dropped the Dead Reckoning Part 2, and they went with the Final Reckoning.
Which I think is actually a cool name.
That's a cool name, and really, I could care less what it's called.
Yeah.
It's Tom Cruise doing a bunch of stunts, and I'm so pumped that you're right. That movie is near and dear to our hearts because at Dead Reckoning Part 1 is when you just dropped the bombshell on me that we were going to start a podcast. So yeah, super stoked. For some reason, the Mission Impossible franchise just never wears on me. Like, I love it every time. I was actually watching some a couple days ago. I watched Rogue Nation and Ghost Protocol, and I was just like, you know what? These movies are awesome. So I expect this one to be the same. Truthfully, I'm going against what I would normally say on here. I hope they don't change anything. Just keep doing what you're doing, Mission Impossible movies, and I'll be happy.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
Just want to mention that the movie comes out May 23rd, so that's kicking off summer blockbuster season.
Yeah.
And I just want to say, like, again, we get annoyed with a lot of things on this podcast, and this one kind of goes against a lot of them that we talk about.
I know.
Even down to, like, the breaking it into part 1 and part 2. A lot of times that bothers me. It's like, just make your movie. Yeah. With this one, it's like, thank you for extending it and giving us 2 wonderful entries.
Can you break this into 7 parts? That'd be fine.
I do want to ask, do you, excuse me, sorry, coughing right into the microphone. It's
all right.
Do you worry at all that this is the final Mission Impossible that we're going to get?
I don't think worry is the right word, because I think in a lot of ways this franchise has overachieved.
That's very fair.
You know what I mean? So it's like, if you're going to quit, just do it, because you've probably already... Because, I mean, I thought we've talked about this a lot on here. After 1, 2, and 3, I was like, okay, like that was a cool trilogy of movies. Like, they're not my favorite, but it was cool. And then, like, 6, 7 years later, they announced another one, and I was like, oh, okay. And then I saw it, and I was like, wait a second, what just happened? Because that was really good.
Yeah.
And then it just kicked off like this second life for the movie. So if they're going to be done with it, we probably got way more entertainment out of it than we ever should have. And like we always talk about, leave us wanting more instead of going, oh man, I really wish they would have stopped.
Yeah.
So I hope this one lands, and it's kind of a win-win. If they announce another one, I will go see it. It'll probably be on my 2028 most anticipated movies of the year list, or whenever it would come out. If they quit, what a run. So it's a win-win.
Yeah. And now the franchise is so just intrinsically linked to Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
We obviously, you mentioned it, watching Ghost Nation and Rogue Protocol. I mix those up, I know.
It doesn't matter.
Whatever.
Yeah.
That they were trying to hand the baton off to Jeremy Renner. And they realized like
the universe was just like, no.
Yes. No, Cruise can still do it, and we want Cruise.
Yeah. And I like Jeremy Renner.
I do too.
Cruise, this is Cruise's thing.
It just made it clear, like, there's no handing off the baton. Like, this is Tom Cruise's
Cruise
franchise, and when he's done with it, it'll be done.
Be done. Yep. So can't wait. I think we've already talked about probably IMAXing that one together.
Absolutely.
Which is funny. Like, that's one thing. We don't see a lot of movies together.
It's true.
So that's always a treat too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's, just for people who don't know, haven't caught when we've explained why, in large part, that's because we just try to save what we're going to save for the pod.
It'd be an awkward car ride home.
We don't want the awkwardness of seeing a movie, walking out and going, don't say anything.
Yeah. Like, boy, the weather outside is crazy, right? Yeah.
Whereas what would actually happen is we'd go out and we would just spill our guts about all our feelings about the movie, and then we go, let's go pod, and it would feel like...
Or it'd be like Terminator 2, where we just pod on... That was the last movie we saw together,
That's
I'm pretty
right.
sure. We just did a pod on the way home.
Yeah.
But yeah, so looking forward to that. So looking forward to seeing that in the IMAX, and can't wait.
Awesome. So that was my peak number one,
Yeah.
most looking forward to movie. I figured that was kind of like the obvious
Yeah.
pick. There are two other movies that I put in my very excited category.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is F1,
On my list.
coming out June 27th. Just a couple reasons. One, I'm just a Brad Pitt guy.
Yep.
I've said that. He's my guy right now, like my favorite actor, and I'm just always interested in his movies. There's the morbid curiosity of this movie that's taken so long to make and has cost so much money,
I heard it's got like a $300 million budget.
which is wild. And just as a movie person, you're kind of like, well, I've got to see what this is.
sounds like an Avengers level budget.
It really, like, you hear that, and my first thought is that sounds like a disaster waiting to happen. And
Agreed.
I don't want that obviously for the
want it
movie. I'm
either.
excited for it, but like it's kind of like a car crash or something.
Like, how is
you
that
know?
movie ever going to make that much money?
Yeah,
But you know who's directing it? Do you know who's directing it?
I don't think I do know.
Dude who directed Top Gun Maverick.
Well, there you go.
So it's like, I remember thinking the same thing 3 years ago or whenever. It was like, Top Gun Maverick, this seems like it might be a disaster. And it is like one of the most beloved movies all time and made $1 billion, literally. So
Yeah.
super excited as well.
Yeah. So I also, I've seen a preview. It's one of those movies I'd love to see no previews about. But I'll say this: the preview didn't show very much or
Yeah.
give anything away.
Yeah.
I hope that they don't release previews that are more in depth and give more away. Just,
right.
I think people will be sold.
Brad Pitt, I think the guy's name is Joe Kaczynski or something like that, who did Top Gun Maverick. Give us that. That should draw in the audience you wanted to draw in.
Exactly. My other movie, my final movie on my very excited list is a remake. It's got our boy Glenn in it.
Yeah.
It's
The Running Man.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's directed by Edgar Wright.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a lot of things going for it right there. I don't always love the idea of remaking things that I like. And The Running Man's a classic,
Gosh, it is.
Arnold movie.
It is.
Like, it it's almost one that I would go like, you don't need to remake it. Watch the old one. It works. If it didn't have people attached to it that I liked, I'd probably be upset that they're remaking this. So I'm a hypocrite. Again, going back to, I know we complain about a lot of things. Quit remaking great movies.
And then I'm so excited for this.
But I don't know.
I'll tell you what, though. I actually just watched the Arnold Running Man not too long ago, and it is awesome because Arnold is awesome. It is so dated.
Yes. That's what I was going to say.
It is so dated.
I think
so. Maybe it's time.
Yeah, it's time for an update. I think that one, it'll work. What I can't wait for, though, is how many people are going to be like, wow, what a Hunger Games ripoff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And all us old people just have to roll our eyes and be like...
I'm not even going to say anything. I'll just be like, okay, sure.
Not even that I think that The Running Man is an original property, because there were stories before The Running Man that were similar, but I just know...
Oh, yeah, it'll happen.
You're going to hear people saying that.
It'll happen for sure.
And then, just, again, it's got our boy Glenn in it. Glenn Powell, I've got,
We've never had one bad thing to say about him on here.
Exactly. It's giving me, like, Twisters vibes, like... Glenn Powell taking over a franchise that's just like dumb fun.
Yeah,
that's my sweet spot.
Exactly, and I feel like that's his sweet spot. I feel like that's what he should be doing.
Yeah,
just be Glenn Powell.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. I feel like I've been doing all the sharing right now, Andy. So let's talk about some movies on your list.
A movie on my very excited list is The Monkey.
Okay.
The follow up from the guy who did Long Legs.
Yes.
And I don't know, I always am like, I want to find like my new guy. Like I'm a Scorsese guy. I'm a Spielberg guy. I'm all these, you got your guys, but it's like, there's always room for new ones. And I just loved Long Legs so much, and I love horror so much. So I really have high hopes for this one to land. And if it does, Osgood Perkins is the guy's name. It'll be like, just 2 for 2 in my book, and it'd be like, okay, now I'm ready to like just latch onto this guy, and I'm just gonna go see every movie he does from now on. So it's just a movie that has a lot of expectation for me. I've seen the trailer. I kind of sort of paid attention to it, but I was also kind of like kind of looking this way because I just didn't want to see a whole lot. So I don't even have a lot of insight into the movie other than. This is, I'm simply basing this off of guy who did Long Legs, and that anticipation of like some movie came out that you love, and now here's the follow up, because I think the follow up is super important. So this one's really high up for a lot of reasons, because I want horror to continue to succeed. I feel like it's been on a roll the last couple of years, and I want this movie to be part of that. And it comes out in February, so I don't have to wait too long.
Yeah, February 21st.
Yeah.
It was on my I'm intrigued list, in large part because I feel like that's where I am with most horror movies now. Like I feel like I'm kind of coming around. But now it used to be like
a
horror.
Like, no, I'm not gonna go see that.
And now I'm like, all right, I'm intrigued. Like especially if I start hearing good things about it. And then I'm like, okay.
And then you end up with a Late Night with the Devil type situation.
Yeah. So
super excited for the director and for just horror in general. So I hope this one lands.
Yeah. I'll share another one that's on my I'm intrigued. So I'm skipping over my my second level excited, but because it kind of goes along with that and it's coming out soon, that's Wolfman.
Yeah.
And for similar
reasons.
On my
list also.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's the same guy who directed The Invisible Man.
Lee Whannell.
And that was a surprisingly really good movie.
That was such an overachieving movie, I felt like.
Yes.
Like, why is The Invisible Man so much better than it should be?
Right. And so I feel, seeing even the preview for Wolfman, exactly the way I felt about Invisible Man. Like, even the preview of Invisible Man, I was like, kind of intriguing, but I don't imagine myself really loving that movie. And then I watched it, I was like, oh, I liked it even more than I could have expected. And so Wolfman's the same way. Like, I'm watching the preview. It's not that it looks bad, but I'm not like, the preview wouldn't alone be like, I'm all in on this. It's knowing that guy's batting, his history. Like,
he wrote
hit a home run last time.
He wrote Saw 1, which, say what you will about Saw. Like, we don't like him, but Saw 1 was original. He wrote couple of the Insidious movies. He partners with James Wan a lot. So, yeah, he's an intriguing guy. Really knows how to build suspense. And also the Wolfman preview is doing the thing that we've talked about we want movies to do. It's not showing the Wolfman.
Right.
Thank you. So that's another, that feeds the anticipation. Like, I want to see what the Wolfman looks like, and I have to go to the movie to see it.
Exactly. Hopefully it's not too much of a Craven with the rhino thing, where
Yeah.
they're not showing it for a
'Cause
reason.
it looks-
Like,
yeah,
we'll
'cause
see
it's
it on
like,
the theater.
this
and be like,
sucks.
oh, this is why they didn't show it in the preview.
Yeah, they didn't.
I
show
don't
it.
think that'll happen.
No,
but
I'm very excited for the Wolfman 2, which comes out like in 2 weeks, doesn't it, or a week?
yeah, I
It
think
comes out
next
in
Friday.
January.
I
Yeah,
think. So
yeah.
we're not too far away from getting to see that one. I'm sure that's one that we will do a full review
Oh
of
yeah,
on the pod.
I hope so.
All right, let's go back to you, Andy.
I'm gonna go with one that we actually had on last year's list that didn't happen. Mickey 17.
Okay,
I bet it's on your list somewhere.
it is. It's the top of that second tier.
Yeah,
Of,
yeah.
of excitement.
I don't know. Just I like Robert Pattinson. I like that he's, I mean, even though Twilight was a long time ago, he's shed all that, and it's like, oh, Robert Pattinson's a good actor. Mm-hmm. I mean, I hated The Lighthouse, but I mean, he's a good actor. Like, so I'm just really excited. It looks super weird. I love when a movie can come out that's, it just does that thing where it's like, man, that movie was so weird and so original, and I loved it.
Yeah,
It's just one of those ones I want it to work so badly, and looks like it's going to be a pretty good time, I think. And I like the, the director. Was his last movie Parasite?
Yes.
He hasn't done one since, right?
I don't think he has.
So there's a little bit of anticipation there, and it's just one it's pretty high up on my list.
Yeah. This one, I think the only thing that's keeping me from being very excited is I am so mad at the preview for this movie.
Yeah.
And I think it's a thing that studios do when they feel like a movie's kind of a hard sell to the general audience.
Like, let's just show you a ton of it.
They're not going to get what this movie is, and they're not going to be in on it just on basis of who's making it. Like,
So we got to
movie. So yeah, we've got to tell them, we got to spell it out. Here's the movie you're going to see. Doesn't this look fun? Mm-hmm. And so they just give way too much. And I'm like, I was in.
I was already in, man.
Before I saw a poster, I heard the name and that it was made by the guy who did.
Yeah, I'm going to butcher his name.
I'm going to call him the guy who did Snowpiercer, because
there you go.
He's done other things too. But I'm like, I'm in. And then the preview's just like, oh, why are you showing me so much? Stop showing me so much. Yeah. And so I feel bad that my excitement has been tempered a little bit by something that has nothing to do with the movie itself. It's just the daggum marketers have robbed me of a little bit of my excitement. Because I'm like, there's so many things in the preview. I'm like, man, if I went into a movie and didn't know at all that was going to happen, I would be so like delightfully surprised.
Yeah. It's one of those movies I'm really hoping it can be like, all right, I've got myself a contender for top 5 best of the year.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping out of this movie. So I'm really excited for it.
For sure. All right. Another movie. I'm going to kind of keep going with the I'm Intrigued, because I think the I'm Intrigued are more interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So this one, I'm not sure if this is a movie that is supposed to be categorized as horror or not, but it's Sinners.
Yeah.
I think it kind of is like a horror, but a little bit of a blending of genres, maybe.
I think so. I wouldn't think of it as a straight horror movie.
Yeah.
But Michael B. Jordan, forgetting the guy's name, Ryan Coogler,
who's making the movie.
Not made a bad movie yet.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so it's another one. Just the previews look cool.
Yep.
And you just see that shot of Michael B. Jordan walking towards the camera, jacked and shooting, pumping and shooting a shotgun, and you're like, all right, I'm in.
Well, it's another one too where they could have gotten me just Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah.
I mean, they've done, 3, 4 movies to get 5 movies? I don't know.
They
Seeing every one of his
collaborate
movies, they work together a lot. They obviously enjoy working together. I think their collaborations have always been good. And, yeah, I'm super excited for this one, too.
Yeah.
And we've talked about it before. We like when genres are successfully intertwined together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it makes it something a little more unique.
It adds a uniqueness to it. You know what? I'm just going to say it. Wicked 2.
Okay.
I'm excited for Wicked 2. We were just talking beforehand. I just saw Wicked. I'm a little late to the game, but I finally saw it last night. Really enjoyed it. And you know what? I'm intrigued to see. I don't know. I have the advantage, like, I'm not a Wicked guy. I don't really even know what happens. I understand it's all building towards it's the prequel to The Wizard of Oz. I get all that. But I don't know, like, every beat of what happens next. So I'm excited for Wicked 2.
Yeah. It's going to sound, again, hypocritical of me, because I put it on kind of my lowest tier of excitement. And mainly, I think, because of the buzz I've heard from other people going like, what are they going to do with number 2? Because I've heard people say like
Really?
all the good songs are
We're in one.
on the first half of the play,
Yeah.
and like it's the stronger half of the play, and so I'm kind of like, I think I'm tainted by hearing
Sure.
that, and so I'm kind of like, oh, like maybe it is that way, and so as much as I've said like, oh yeah, I really enjoyed Wicked, I'm kind of like, I might wait and hear on this one,
Yeah.
but
I think, too,
I should
it's,
probably give it more credit since I did enjoy the first one. So
and
much.
it's not even like, oh my gosh, now I'm a Wicked guy. I think I just like it when, like we always say, we want movies to succeed. And Wicked's bringing a lot of attention to movies, to the theater. People are just continuously going to see it. And I just can't help but kind of rally around movies that bring that positive attention to theaters. And, I just saw it last night, so it's probably some of that, just seeing it. But count me excited.
Yeah. I think the title for that one is Wicked for Good,
Yeah.
which is a kind of a clever play on words,
Yeah.
meaning like wicked for permanently or whatever, but also wicked for good being anthems.
Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, it's more original than Wicked Part 2.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm excited.
That comes out November 21st, so we've got a little while to wait.
Got
for
a ways
that
to go,
one.
but I am excited.
Yeah. I am excited for this one. Again, second level excitement for the terribly now titled, because they didn't trust it on its own, From the World of John Wick, Ballerina.
Yeah.
Should have just stuck with Ballerina.
Just call it Ballerina.
I know why they added From the World of John Wick.
I
Because
did
they
too.
didn't trust it was going to sell without that connection. And then they even had to throw him into the preview, which really annoyed me too. But I'm like, it's a cool action franchise I like. I'm interested to see how they try to take it in a little different direction by not having it be about John Wick.
Yeah.
And I love Ana de Armas.
Exactly.
Quite literally, I love her.
You
So,
literally in love with her.
I love, yes.
Yeah. I love action movies. I love when there's dependable action movies to go see in the theater. So that's another one. It's like, yeah, I want this to be good. I saw a preview for it maybe at Gladiator 2, and I was like, cool.
Yeah.
A lot of guns, a lot of shooting. I don't remember what. There was some stunt Ana de Armas did, and I was like, well, that looked cool. So I'm sold.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, man, I hate it when you do get that feeling, though, that like they maybe don't have as much confidence in it as you would want them to. Because like I said, it felt very tacked on to show Keanu Reeves in the trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. I don't know. I feel bad criticizing marketing departments as much as I do, because I get the challenge of their job. We talk about the time. Most people are not like us. Most people don't go see a lot of movies. They want to go see something that they know they're going to enjoy. They're not going to see a
They
couple.
don't want to take a risk.
And marketing departments know that. And so they've got to appeal to
You
those
gotta
people.
spell this out for people.
It just stinks that to do that, they have to really do things that irk movie fans like us that are already in and already with it. It's like, just and have some confidence.
And we might as well just get used to that, because it's just not going to change, I don't think.
You're exactly
unfortunately.
right. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to get this out of the way. I am excited for the Fantastic Four.
Okay.
I've been pretty down on Marvel lately. I mean, my superhero enthusiasm definitely is probably at an all-time low. I'm really trying to talk myself into getting excited for the new Captain America movie. Not having a whole lot of success. Thunderbolts, okay. Like, I like Florence Pugh. Like, she's good. But Fantastic Four is the one where it's like, okay, we haven't seen this from Marvel. We've seen it when it was a Fox property or whatever it was, and then we saw the disastrous, was it 2014 or something?
Yeah,
Just
whatever that was.
An all-time train wreck of a movie.
Yeah.
So I am excited to see, Marvel's take on the Fantastic Four. And then in 2026, we do have a new Avengers movie coming out that's got a lot of buzz because RDJ's back. So I'm looking forward to seeing if this can, kind of get that ball rolling and get that momentum going. So
Yeah.
I am excited for Fantastic Four.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I will say this. Let's kind of have a superhero section right here.
Right, because I didn't know how to do this, because I didn't want to just name every superhero movie that was coming out.
I'm with you in that Fantastic Four First Steps is its official title. Comes out July 25th. I have that in my mid tier. I'm intrigued. I also have Superman in that tier.
Yep.
And here's where I go maybe I am just a basic guy too, because I've got Fantastic Four and Superman, the two more well-known ones. And then I've got Captain America Brave New World, which still just doesn't feel like Captain. I mean, like I know he's now Captain
I know,
America, but
I know.
it's like just it feels like I'm watching Falcon, Brave New World, and so it feels like a B Avengers movie.
It was like a step down.
Yes, and then Thunderbolts. I've got both of those as kind of like a let's wait and see. Let's see what we're hearing. You know, like and not that I feel weird saying I want to hear the buzz because I don't always agree with the buzz.
Right.
I'm a contrarian by nature, but at the same time, with these superhero movies, I'm like, if the people who are into superhero movies are kind of like, then I know.
Yeah.
And a lot of times in superhero movies, the buzz is pretty accurate. You know, like you could hear the buzz with like Craven, where it's coming out and there's like either no buzz or the buzz is kind of like, and you're like, then you see it and you're like, oh, I get why now.
Yeah.
But then with other ones that are good, the buzz is up and higher. You hear people excited, and it just sort of plays out that way. So that's kind of where I am with Thunderbolts and Captain America: Brave New World. It's like I'd love for it to come out and people be all excited and say like this movie was great. Of course, the other thing is probably won't wait too long for people to get all excited because now for the pod, I'll go see it opening weekend so that we can have a chance to talk about it because we are the buzz now, Andy.
We are the buzz.
We're the people letting the people know. Should you get excited for this?
That's right.
Or no.
We're really influencing the culture.
That's right. And
it also helps too that like Marvel didn't flood theaters last year. Their only release was Deadpool and Wolverine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that one feels so like just barely Marvel that
I know.
I think most people aren't.
It feels like we're jumping back into the MCU.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I do have some excitement about that. And like I said, for the next couple of Avenger movies, they got the Russo brothers back. They did an Endgame and Infinity War. So that makes me, it's like I do feel like there's some promise for the first time in a little bit, and I want to see if these movies and especially Fantastic Four can kickstart that.
Yeah. I will say I feel a little bit the opposite with the Russo brothers coming back in RDJ. Not because I don't have confidence in them. To me, it smells a little desperation. Like,
I agree.
Now they're going back to like, oh no, we no longer are the company that can't mess up and can't do any wrong. It's like, get us back to the people who did it right. Hey, we got these people you love.
You're right.
Here they are. And so
you're right. That's a fair point. I'll always say I just wish I wasn't talking about any Marvel movies because I wish they would have stopped at Endgame.
Yes.
But that's not the case. So cautiously optimistic about Fantastic Four. And Superman, I don't know. I just don't know.
Yeah.
It's, I like James Gunn. He did the Guardians movies. It's hard to argue that those aren't fun, entertaining movies. We'll see what he can do. I hope I'm impressed.
Yeah. I don't even know why I'm intrigued because Superman's not one of my favorite heroes.
No, it's a tough character to get behind. It's like he's perfect and nothing hurts him.
Right.
You're like, well, that's not very intriguing.
And even regardless of that fact, I like Man of Steel. So there's already like the Superman movie that I
have
like.
A good Superman movie, yeah.
So I think it is just sort of the James Gunn weirdness of it. It's like, I think that's what it is. It's Superman's such like a dull character to me. He's just white bread, He's just a
good
saltine cracker.
Yep.
But James Gunn's such a weirdo that it's like,
you want to see what can he do?
What is he drawn to with this character? Yeah. It can't be basic Superman stuff because James Gunn's just too weird for that. But we'll see.
It's supposed to be like the 17th DC like relaunch, so we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I'll see it. I'll see it for sure. So
yeah. All right. It's so much of my list is sequels as I'm scrolling through this and realizing that's just sort of the way it is. But one of them that I'm excited for is Predator Badlands.
Yeah, it's on my list. And it's coming out to the theater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is the way it should be.
The way it should be. Prey was awesome, and it went straight to Hulu.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, man, this movie rules.
Which, I guess in that one's defense, that one might have been COVID related.
It you might be right.
Because it was around that time.
It was.
So I guess I'll excuse it, but that's definitely a movie that should have been in theaters.
That movie
and so
rules.
I'm very glad to hear that this next one is going to be in theaters.
And I think the guy that did Prey is doing this one.
I think you're right.
Yeah. So count me excited.
And I'm pretty sure, again, it's a time period. Like,
yeah. I mean, the title definitely
the Predator
makes you think that. Yeah.
Yeah. So
and Elle Fanning's in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm super excited.
Yeah. I'm in on another Predator that's on the line along the lines of Prey.
Yeah, me too.
That was a great one.
If it can have the same vibe as Prey, then by all means.
Yes.
Yep. I'll throw out a horror sequel I'm excited for. Megan 2.0.
I've been waiting for it. It's on my.
I mean, look, the world needs goofy, fun movies, and that's what Megan was. I had a blast watching Megan. So yeah, I'll watch this one. I think same director, same writer. The main human star, the aunt and the girl whose parents were killed are back. Bring it on. I'm excited. I had a blast watching Megan.
Yeah. Do you worry at all, though, that Megan is just on the corner of subservience, Like,
listen, Megan had to walk so subservience could run. So I want there to be plenty of room for killer robot movies in the world.
yes.
I don't want to be selfish.
Robot children or robots.
I don't care. Robot Megan Foxes, robot children, just bring it all on. I'm all for it.
Yeah. It's on my I'm intrigued list for sure because, I mean, it was just one of those, like, they're just having a lot of fun with it.
It's just harmless fun. Yeah.
And I can't imagine the sequel isn't going to also just be fun.
It's almost in a weird way, kind of like what I was saying with Mission Impossible, where it's like, don't try, just do it all again. Which, again, like you said, like, I don't want to sound like a hypocrite because any other time we'd be criticizing movies for that, but just give me more. Like, I think if you're like a movie nerd and you're like, oh, The Godfather and all this stuff, which I am, is so important. Like, you have to allow yourself to have fun. It's like I don't ever want to become like such a stuffy movie guy that I can't enjoy a killer robot dancing down a hallway with a whatever like from the paper shredder and killing people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like Megan, like movies like Megan, it's like I need those in my life because I need to be like, you know what? Sometimes I just want to sit here and have mindless fun.
That's exactly right.
And Megan definitely checked that box. I hope this one continues it.
Totally with you. Okay. Another action sequel that I'm excited for is Nobody 2.
Yeah.
Little surprised, though, that this one's getting a sequel. Like, it just kind of felt like hey, we're just trying something different, one offer.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to complain that there's a sequel because I really enjoyed the first one.
Same.
So why not? More power to you. It is kind of funny. It's just... It's totally in the vein of John Wick, It's just like Die Hard spawned a whole bunch of Die Hard ripoffs. John Wick's kind of done the same thing.
It's inevitable.
There's just a pretty good version of it.
Yeah,
pretty good version of that.
What's the dude's name?
I'm completely trying so hard to think about the top of my head, and now I'm.
Yeah, he's good.
Bob Odenkirk.
There you go. Thank you. 28 years later,
on my list.
Got to name it. I don't know. Like you said, a lot of sequels, a lot of continuations of things, and truthfully, I like 28 years or 28 days later and 28 weeks later, but I was not like, man, give me another one, one. And then the trailer came out, and I was like, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I have to confess, I saw 28 Days Later. Thought it was a cool movie, and just never got around to seeing 28 Weeks Later. I don't know why. So now I'm like, well, the cool thing about this is I've got homework I've got to watch and catch up, but like I'm kind of excited to watch both. And again, one of those movies, again, not being a horror movie guy, I avoid a lot on purpose. This was not one I avoided on purpose. 28 Weeks Later came out, and I thought, well, I'll see that at some point, and it's one of those you just put off and don't see.
Yeah.
And now 28 years later is coming out, and I'm like, same. Saw the preview, and I was like,
it's pretty cool.
I'm in on this.
Aaron Taylor Johnson's in it. I like him.
Yeah, and I was really glad to see. I mean, I think I saw the preview for it at Craven.
Yeah.
And it was like, as I'm watching, I'm going, oh, Aaron Taylor Johnson's in that one? And I finished Craven. I was like, well, thank goodness he's got that other one coming out. I didn't even know he was in Nosferatu at the time. So I'm glad that after Craven, he's getting to have Nosferatu, and then 28 years later, hopefully it's like, those will help just brush aside that.
Well, and it's Craven. Like nobody went to see Craven. So
that's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's your turn to mine.
I just said 28 years later. Yeah.
All right. I am locked in, as you can tell.
Locked in. You've been at work all day.
Yeah. First day back. So it's like, just a little.
Give yourself some grace.
Another action movie sequel that I think I'm I'm almost more intrigued than I am excited just because it's such a weird original, and that's The Accountant.
Yeah.
The Accountant is such a strange movie.
It's a weird movie.
Ben Affleck playing a guy who is like on the spectrum, like he's autistic, really good with numbers, but he's also a hitman, and it's very strange.
It is.
Anna Kendrick's in it, being like great Anna Kendrick, like that charming, whimsical Anna Kendrick to balance out like Ben Affleck just being the most dry personality. So I'm like weirdly intrigued of like, okay, what are you gonna do in the sequel to this movie? That was such an oddball first one,
Right.
I could see this going really extremes. I mean, I shouldn't even say extremes. It's not. I don't expect a version of this where I could be like, that movie was great.
Yeah.
I could expect like, oh, that was fun, and they
fun.
recaptured the fun of the original. Or I could see it going very badly.
Yeah.
That's the sad fact. I feel like there's more room to the bad, but I'm intrigued. I hope they can find like that's kind of a good, unique, weird
And
action
like,
movie.
I mean, Affleck doesn't do a lot of sequels, does he? I mean, he got wrapped up in all the DCU stuff, so there was, but
no,
I don't think he's like a big sequel guy.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, honestly, other than being Batman in more than one movie, I can't think of him doing a sequel.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm on board.
Which is a shame because Armageddon 2 was sitting right there.
It was right there, dude. Come on, Pearl Harbor 2. Like, come on, Affleck. We laugh, but never underestimate Hollywood and their willingness to make a few bucks.
So true.
Yeah. I would say probably it's fair to say at this point I'm dropping down quite a bit. So this is one I'm looking forward to only based off the star. Leonardo DiCaprio has a new movie coming out this year directed by Paul Thomas Anderson. Doesn't even have a title yet. I got to say, I'm not a huge Paul Thomas Anderson guy. Like, Boogie Nights is awesome. But honestly, I find a lot of his movies to be just really boring.
Yes.
Like, There Will Be Blood is an all-time, like, he's so pretentious. There Will Be Blood is just an all-time, like, amazing performance. Just not that great of a movie, in my opinion. He did that one with Daniel Day-Lewis where he's like a seamstress or something.
Phantom Thread.
One of the most boring movies I've ever seen. But I don't know. I'm intrigued. Like I said, I'm dropping down a level in excitement. But I love DiCaprio. So be interested to see what him and DiCaprio do together.
Yeah, that one I literally didn't put on here because I didn't know where to put it. I was like, because like you said, I'm exactly with you on the filmmaker.
Oh.
Like, not really a big fan of his work.
I obviously, you're a smart guy, but these movies are a pain to sit through.
Yeah. But like I said, DiCaprio's good.
I like DiCaprio a ton.
It's kind of the thought of like, could DiCaprio do what Day-Lewis did and be like, have a performance that's so good that you elevate above the movie?
Yeah. This is just more like I'm more just curious than anything.
Yeah.
Like curious to see like what this movie's called, what's it about, what's DiCaprio going to do. DiCaprio doesn't seem to know how to just do a standard, basic performance. He always has to be troubled or tortured or like there's always something more, there's always something to his performances. Mm-hmm. So I just can't help but be intrigued by this.
Yeah. This next one, I'm almost a little ashamed to say that it's on my excited list, but it just is because these movies are incredible theater experiences. Avatar, Fire and Ash.
I just didn't know whether to put mine on there or not because here's exactly what will happen. I'll go see it one time.
Yes.
And I'll probably never watch it again.
That's what I've done with the first two Avatars.
Is exactly what I've done with the first two Avatars.
But those one watch.
It's insane.
Ah, wow. That's amazing.
It's insane. I mean, what was the last one called? Way of Water?
Yeah.
Saw it in IMAX 3D.
Yeah.
It's so weird to be sitting there and going, this is absolutely incredible, and I will never watch this movie again as long as I live.
It is the definition of, I brought up this term, I mean, it's just stolen from Fight Club, but single-serving movie.
Yeah.
That movie that's perfect for you use once and throw it away. Avatar movies are perfect for that. They are the best single-serving movies, the best one-time watch.
They look incredible.
And be done. I mean, I say one-time watch because if they throw it back in theaters, would I go watch on the big screen again? Maybe for that experience again. But they're not movies you visit for the story at all.
No.
So on the small screen, you're not like, ooh, I got to go watch my favorite characters doing my favorite adventures.
It's a visual spectacle.
It is just James Cameron.
At the highest level.
Yeah, James Cameron has always been just a groundbreaking filmmaker who always does something new and inventive in his movies. Yeah. And so it's kind of like, okay, I'll go see what he does new and inventive. And he keeps doing these different elements that are the focus. So the last one was all about water and all the cool stuff you can do underwater. This one's called Fire and Ash. I don't know what it's going to look like, but I know he's going to do cool stuff with
It'll be cool.
With fire.
It'll be cool. It will. I'm just still so salty that he's just probably going to finish his career in the Avatar world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a bummer.
It's a bit of a bummer, but it's a fair one. I'm running out. I have a couple on here that are just kind of very specific to me. Like there's a Steven Soderbergh movie coming out this month, I think, about a haunted house presence.
Yeah.
I've seen a little bit of buzz about that. It's actually, I think it's like from the perspective of the ghost is kind of the gimmick.
Soderbergh's such a weirdo.
He's weird.
If anybody was going to make a movie from the perspective of
it'd
a ghost,
be him. He is so weird, but I am intrigued. And then there's another, again, horror movie coming out called The Companion, or maybe just Companion. It's either from the producers or one of the writers of the movie Barbarian that came out a couple years ago.
Oh, yes.
That I was a big fan of. This has Jack Quaid in it, who I do like. He was in the 2022 Scream. So it's one that it's not, it's not like I am counting the days, but it's like, you know what, I'm going to give this a shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So these are all like, I'm intrigued.
Mm-hmm.
And for various reasons. First one is Anaconda. Why?
With Owen Wilson and Paul Rudd and Jack Black.
And Jack Black. First off, the original Anaconda is a guilty pleasure movie for me.
It's insane, and it has Owen Wilson in it. That's
why. Yes, it does. It's a terrible movie. It's so watchable.
It's so watchable.
So dumb fun.
Does Jon Voight give the greatest performance in movie history in Anaconda?
It's entirely possible.
It's possible. Yeah.
So Anaconda is already kind of like a dumb franchise that like I'll watch a dumb Anaconda movie if it's like at least trying to be,
Paul Rudd is so random.
Paul Rudd and Jack Black being in it, it's like, okay, now you've really got me.
It comes out like at Christmas time.
December 25th, exactly.
It's like everything about this just feels wrong. Like they're purposely trying to do everything the opposite of what they should do.
It feels fake is what it feels like. Like you're going to, like I feel like I'm going to go to the theater and
it's going to be like Anchorman 3 or something. And they're going to be like, we gotcha.
Yeah, it's going to be Paul Rudd pulling the Conan O'Brien prank on us. It's just Mac and me on the screen.
It doesn't seem real. Sounds like a Saturday Night Live sketch.
Yeah. Another one is The Naked Gun.
With Liam Neeson. Known comedian Liam Neeson.
Right. The only reason I'm intrigued by this is I'm a fan of the Naked Gun movies. They're great humor. And I don't know if Liam Neeson's going to be terrible or great.
This is another thing that sounds made up.
It does. But I'll say this. The nice thing about the Naked Gun movies is the humor is how straight he plays it.
Yeah. So if Neeson can just let everything else just bounce off of him.
They're like, they'll just have to tell him, you don't have to try to be funny. You will play this as serious as you can.
Basically, he needs to play it like he's doing Taken 5 or whatever it would be. Yeah. And it's directed by like one of the Lonely Island guys, not Andy Samberg, one of the other two guys.
Yeah.
So they did like Hot Rod and some of those movies that are just so absurd that they're funny. So
yeah. And then the last one in my interested one, Andy, I'm embarrassed for you that you didn't include this one. Zootopia 2.
So I didn't know. Is it actually coming out?
I saw it. It's coming out November 26th.
Yeah. Oh, I love Zootopia.
Yeah. I'll go hang out in Zootopia again for a sequel.
Get me back there with Officer Judy Hopps. Let's solve some crimes.
Can I tell you what is the only thing that bothers me about the title Zootopia 2 is it feels like it should be easier to blend and it's not. You're like Zootopia.
Right.
Like Zootopia.
Yeah.
It's not quite there. It feels like it should be there.
They could go like the Fast and Furious and be like Zootopia. They could do that like Too Fast, Too Furious.
That would be great.
Yeah. So if they do steal that idea, I want to take credit for it right here and now.
Absolutely.
Yeah. If that's coming out, then I'm excited for it. I didn't know if it was because I thought I had read something that was 2026, and it seems like Disney anymore. They announce something, and you can just count on it getting delayed.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And then I have a few movies listed that are like, we'll see. I don't know if it's great, but like it could end up being dumb fun. Den of Thieves 2 is on there.
And it's got a really random like a not a subtitle, but a
Pantera.
yeah. Like what? What is that?
No idea.
No idea. I don't know.
But I mean, the first one is all right. I think it's a little over celebrated as like
Bill Simmons and those guys go crazy over it on the rewatchables.
yes,
Yeah.
and I'm kind of like, I think they celebrate it like, well, this is almost like an 80s action movie or something. And I'm like, yeah, kind of, but it lacks the charm of Arnold or Stallone or anybody like that. So it's still not that level.
Yeah.
But that said, I almost wonder if because, I mean, was the first one even a theatrical movie?
I don't
feel
know
like the first one was like a straight to like
that just kind of found an
movie.
audience. Yeah,
And
maybe
so I'm
it
like,
was. I don't
is this
know.
one going to get like more, maybe this one will be even better than the first because maybe they're actually like trying harder for this one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Another movie that I'm intrigued by is The Gorge.
Yeah.
And really, I just don't know anything about this one other
Miles
than
Teller and Anya Taylor-Joy.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Like,
I did have it written down, and I wrote in parentheses Miles Teller and Anya Taylor-Joy.
exactly.
Yeah.
Novocaine, which speaking of
Jack Quaid.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. It kind of just
Could be an interesting idea. Like he doesn't feel pain.
yeah. I mean, a little bit of we already saw that in the movie Kick-Ass, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Still could be funny.
Yeah. I like Jack Quaid.
It's got the joke that's happened in 100 movies where he kills a guy and then does the "Are you okay?"
Yeah.
and clearly the guy's not. And you know what? It's usually still funny,
It
but
usually works.
It's also kind of like when that's kind of your big trailer joke.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, did
Well,
you
it's
not
like we just saw that in Deadpool
yeah,
and
you
Wolverine.
didn't have any original
Yeah.
I'm a little worried that's going to be like that. So, but could be fun. And that's it for my list of like movies I'm excited about. But we always say what's really exciting are the movies we don't even know to be exciting about.
Exactly. That's exactly what I wanted to say.
Yeah.
The movie that I don't know that I'm excited for yet. It's like I was thinking back, like last year it would have been like Anora. Mm-hmm. A movie I didn't even know was a thing. And all of a sudden out of nowhere I just heard this buzz. Or like Cuckoo, or I don't know, just some movies like that sneak up on you. Late Night with the Devil.
Yeah.
I didn't know a lot about that until like 3 weeks before I saw it.
Strange Darling. You didn't know anything about that until well after it was out and released.
Didn't know a thing about it. So yeah, it's like I said when we did no matter how much of a movie guy you are, stuff still gets past you. So yeah, I'm super excited for the thing that I don't know that I'm excited about yet.
Exactly. I'm excited for whatever this year's Ghost Light's going to be for me. That movie that nobody's heard of and I had no idea was a thing. And then you see it and you go,
You
wow.
love it. Yep.
What a
Can't wait.
film. Let's talk a little bit about our least interested or least excited we are for movies. The movies that we're like, I just would be very surprised if I got to a theater to see that. Now, that said, sometimes I end up seeing these movies, and I'm pretty sure Wicked was on my list of movies
Same.
I am not going to be seeing.
Same. And it's like
this
we
year.
try to sit down here, like try to be open-minded. I don't want movies to suck.
Yeah.
I want movies to be good. But
Exactly.
Yeah.
But there it is. I'm a little depressed looking at how long the list is of movies, and I wasn't trying to like compile extensive lists. It's just I kept seeing movies and be like, need to add that to my list of like, ooh, I don't see myself seeing that. The first one, I think this one is pretty much chronological because as I was seeing them as I was going through the year, Snow White.
Yeah.
I mean, we talk about all the time. The Disney live action remakes, those are my like, wherever the opposite of championing a movie is I'm a heel for those movies, I guess. Like I am.
I just saw the preview for it last night at Wicked. And then it doesn't help that the actress is an idiot who just constantly runs her mouth and says stupid crap. And And this movie just has disaster written all over it.
Yeah, which I feel bad because, again, being contrary, being hypocritical to everything we say, we want movies to succeed. I want some of these Disney live action remakes to fail. I think Mufasa has not done well, or at least well as they thought.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, I think it's doing really well overseas, unfortunately. Yeah.
So I was hoping between that and then it's Snow White would
kill
stumble,
these off.
and they'd be like, oh, maybe, yeah. But
and it's so fun. Like we've talked about, we don't have to dwell on it, but it's like I saw the preview last night, and the seven dwarves look so CGI up on that screen. It's like, isn't that why you're making these movies? So you don't like it's supposed to be the live action, and then ironically, you just end up with all this CGI. So it's so stupid.
yeah,
Yeah.
A Minecraft movie.
Dude, that's probably my number one. I saw that trailer last night and I was like, I hate this movie already. And I not literally like, but this is one where it's like, I really just don't even want to give this a chance. Like Minecraft means nothing to me.
Yeah.
I have no connection to Minecraft at all. and it feels like Jack Black just phoning it in. Judging by the trailer, always happy to be proven wrong, but
Yeah. It's giving real Emoji Movie vibes.
it is. It's just like not everything needs to be made into a movie.
Yeah.
And it's just like I saw this trailer and I was just like, why? Why is this a thing? Like, God bless Jason Momoa. He's always up for he tries really hard to be like, I'm not just an action guy. And like he seems like he's gonna be pretty funny. Like he seems like he's funny, but this movie just seems like death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of death, Final Destination Bloodlines. Just like, I can't believe they're still making Final Destinations.
This would be like the 6th or 7th one.
Yeah.
And they literally all have the same plot.
Yes.
I mean, they do have cool, like, gore if you're into that stuff. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I've enjoyed some of those movies, but...
I was a fan of the first one. But
Yeah,
it was
really-
kind of a
really
unique
original idea. Yeah.
Like, it's kind of cool.
Doesn't really feel like we need a part 6.
Yeah. I think I've only seen the first 2. I think
Yeah.
I saw the first one and I enjoyed, and I liked. I'm going to go as far as to say I was a fan of the first one. I bought it on DVD.
Yeah,
like I saw the second one. I was like, okay, but like losing steam because, like you said, it's the same movie.
It's the same movie, and then they get to the point. It's almost turning into like the Saw thing, where because it's the same plot, they just have to try and see how gross they can get. And
Exactly.
I remember watching one of them, and it was just like, oh, that was just really unpleasant. Like, is that one where the 2 girls got trapped in the tanning beds and like burned alive? And I was like, oh, that was horrible. Like, that was really uncomfortable and unpleasant. And
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that, which I'll go ahead and skip ahead. Saw 11.
Good gosh. Come on. Like, yeah, I'm going to bang my head on this desk like long legs. Like, come on. The fact that we're saying Saw 11 is insane.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. How about Untitled I Know What You Did Last Summer sequel?
Yeah, like a legacy sequel. It's got Freddie Prinze Jr. and Jennifer Love Hewitt coming back. Yeah. I don't know. Like, it's like I've said, I don't remember what we were talking about. Maybe one of the Saws where I was like, horror movies, not always, but like they usually succeed because they can be made relatively inexpensively and they'll usually make their money back. So it's like, why are you recycling all this stuff from so long ago when it's like, if you want to make a movie about a guy stalking teenagers or something, which reminds me, I had a movie that I forgot to list. There's a slasher movie coming out called Heart Eyes.
Yes.
Yeah, I totally forgot to list. Anyway, I do want to see that. But it's like, why are you recycling this old stuff? Like, I Know What You Did Last Summer and I Still Know What You Did Last Summer are... I Know What You Did Last Summer is like an okay popcorn movie. The sequel is awful. And it's just like, is this a thing? I don't know. Yeah.
It's, to me, I Know What You Did Last Summer was always like the, kind of like the, how do I say this? The like dumb sibling of Scream.
Yeah. Yeah.
Scream
it's
comes
like
out
the
and it's
pansy
like
version of Scream.
It's like Scream without the like stuff that's great about Scream, without the sort of like meta self-awareness commentary.
And they
on
wouldn't
its
even,
own genre.
they were like PG-13, so you weren't even getting
I
like...
think they were R.
Were they R?
Yeah, they were R.
Were they? But it's still like it like Scream was like, these cool kills, and I Know What You Did Last Summer just felt it just felt cheap to me.
Yeah, they were just like, they watched Scream and they said, what works is teenagers being stalked by a killer rather than all the cleverness of Scream.
Yeah.
So as Scream has continued to work and they've been bringing it back with the legacy sequels,
I guess we shouldn't be surprised that this is
I Know What You
happening.
Do Summer's going, we can do that too. And it's like, you're not Scream.
Just
You're
stay in the 90s.
You're the dumb brother. You're showing
It was
up
like,
and everyone's
like Scream was trying to sneak past them. It's like, don't let I Know What You Did Last Summer know that we're doing movies. And then they just looked up and they're like, hey, I want to play too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And it's getting like a theatrical release in like July and
July 18th.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Really, really bad idea.
Yeah.
I'll just throw out there that there's a Untitled Insidious sequel and The Conjuring Last Rites.
Feels like those have run their course.
Just franchises that I have no connection to. Those are from my I don't watch horror movies days, so it's like...
I mean, I like the Conjuring movies. They do a good job of the scary haunted house. Like, that usually works, but this is our 4th Conjuring movie. Probably feels like it's time to let that go.
Yeah.
And Insidious, this will be like the 6th, I think, one. And it's definitely time to let that go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So many of these are sequels that I'm naming here because So we talked about that's mostly what you're going to have some sort of strong emotional reaction to is, oh, cool, they're doing this franchise again, or come on,
Stop
with this
doing
franchise.
this. Yeah.
So was another come on, I can't believe you're continuing to do this. One, his Karate Kid Legends.
Yeah.
It's taking the Ralph Macchio Karate Kid and the Jackie Chan one and putting it together. Also has nothing to do with the
Cobra
incredibly
Kai.
successful Cobra Kai show, which is like, why are you doing this? Who's asking for this?
And it's another thing where it's like, you guys, like Cobra Kai should have been a failure.
Yes.
But I have never watched it. Like, apparently it's really good. So it's like, be happy that you had that victory. Don't try and push it. Because I think it might be from the same people. Maybe that, I don't know. Yeah. I mean, it's like, it's one of those things like, I don't really fault Ralph Macchio. It's like, dude, if that's what you're like, suck that well dry, dude. But as an audience member, it's like, yeah. And that's another one, too, where it's like, I say I want to give movies a chance. I probably won't go see that.
I don't want to give that one a chance.
I don't want to go see that. I just really don't. It doesn't sound interesting to me at all. So, yeah.
No, that one maybe like bums me out that that's happening.
Yeah.
Jurassic World Rebirth. Stop. You haven't made a good one since Jurassic Park.
Yeah. It's insane. This is the 7th Jurassic Park movie. And so I was a little bit on the fence about this because like Scarlett Johansson's in it and Gareth Edwards is directing it. And then I watched the original Jurassic Park the other day. And then it was like, nope, I don't like this. Jurassic Park is a classic. It is so good.
So good.
It's so good. It holds up. If it came out today, it would be a great movie. And then you just sit there and go, and now we're getting ready to get our 7th one.
Yeah.
It's like, it's hard to get on board with these franchises where every character is just an idiot and you just want to be like, hey, here's an idea. Stop making dinosaurs.
Yeah.
It blows up in your face for 7 movies now. You know what I mean? Like, it's just getting stupid where you're like, wow, they thought dinosaurs could live on the earth and they can't.
Mm. And the wonder is gone. Once the wonder, like so much of the initial one is not even just the wonder of us as a viewer, obviously, but
it's the wonder of the characters.
And the characters, yeah, like they're, the famous scene of them seeing dinosaurs for the first time.
He turns her head. That's unbelievable.
It's great. We're living now the world of the movies. Dinosaurs have been seen. They're commonplace. The characters don't have them. So what do you like?
What are you doing? And it's like
that's the magic of the movie.
Yeah. And the last one, like they got so desperate they combined like the Chris Pratt movies and then the characters from the original. Oh my goodness, they're together. And that was I saw it because my kids all wanted to see it. And I was like, this is stupid.
The last one was so bad. There was way too much in the movie was about like genetically modified locusts.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm not even watching a dinosaur
movie. There's a genetically
right now.
modified kid in those movies. There is.
I believe you. I think I'd forgotten about
that. There is.
But
I'm not making that up.
Yeah. So,
Stop making these movies. It's like Scarlett Johansson was like, man, I haven't been in an Avengers movie in a while. Fly Me to the Moon didn't make money. Put me in there with some dinosaurs.
Goodness knows I'm the breadwinner because I'm married to Colin Yost.
Right.
Who I just like to give a hard time because he's married to Scarlett Johansson.
Right. But that movie will probably make $1 billion, literally. And then they'll probably be like, well, now we're launching a new trilogy.
Oh, for sure. I'm sure that's why it's called Rebirth. They're like, we're resetting the timer here.
I feel like they announced that movie like 5 months ago, and then it's coming out in July. Like, I could be wrong. Like, it just reeks of like, oh, just bust out another Jurassic World movie. Yeah.
Gosh.
I was almost angry after watching the original. It was like, you guys have just sullied the name of the original Jurassic Park.
Yeah. 2 movies I'm going to lump together, Lilo and Stitch and How to Train Your Dragon. Stop making live action movies of these animated.
And then next year we get to look forward to Moana live action. And
yeah,
this is going to be a thing for a while, I think, until one of these movies literally loses like $400 million. Yeah. It sucks.
Sequels to movies that, again, I don't think anybody's asking for sequels. Freakier Friday. Why?
Like, look, Lindsay Lohan, I'm proud of you that you're not a drug addicted train wreck anymore. I really am.
Yeah.
But I don't want to see this movie.
Yeah. I mean, it really feels like they're trying to make the Lindsay Lohan comeback happen too hard.
They're trying to force it. Like
Yeah.
she's doing a couple like straight to Netflix movies. Like that's probably just where you need to stay.
Yeah.
Like no offense. Like I think she's great. Like early Lindsay Lohan was great. Like she was great in these early movies she was doing in Mean Girls and stuff. And then it went off the rails. I'm glad it's back a little bit, but it doesn't mean I want to see a sequel to a movie that doesn't need to have a sequel.
Yeah. I don't ever want a sequel that's only a sequel because the studio thinks people will pay to see it, or because they're trying to give the actors something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It needs to be born out of like we have a great idea.
Exactly.
It needs to be born out like Terminator 2.
Yeah.
Like we have a great idea and we can advance this story, not just what haven't we done? Oh, we haven't done a Freaky Friday 2. Let's do that.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm not anti Lindsay Lohan. I would love to see her in a good movie. I just don't think that this has a chance of being a good movie.
I doubt it.
Now You See Me 3. I hate the Now You See Me franchise. Although, to be fair, I don't know if I ever saw the sequel because I hated the first one so much.
I didn't see the second one.
I thought the first one was so dumb that when the second one came out, I couldn't believe that it was successful enough to have a sequel, and now it's successful enough to have a third.
And it's like, they're going to do another one of those like over-the-top scenes where they're like hiding the card that they're so proud. Like they think those scenes are so cool.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? And it's like
Yes.
he slides it through his shirt and it's like
throws it off the wall, and the other guy catches it behind his back and stuff.
And the whole time these security guards aren't seeing it, you're like, come on.
Yeah.
Come on. This is ridiculous. Yeah. I'm not interested in that at all.
That's what kills me about those movies. Is it's so over the top dumb. And then like the twist at the end of the first one was like, magic is real. It's like, are you serious right now? Like, did a 5-year-old write this?
Yeah.
And the fact that people like bought it were like, great movie, great twist.
I know.
Nope.
I'm like you. I never even saw part 2. I think at one point I didn't even I was like, wait, there's a second one? Like, yeah, I don't care about the third one at all.
I know they different female actress in it. There was at least, which always cracked me up because I felt like she was kind of the least famous of the like main cast. But she was like, I'm not soling my career with the sequel to this.
Good for her.
And yeah, I'm like,
Good for you.
Can't believe the rest of you didn't.
Yeah.
To be fair to Woody Harrelson, who I love, he was probably just high when he agreed to
he
do
was
it. You know,
baked out of his mind.
yeah, he was like, now you see me too, and now I see you too.
Yeah.
And he didn't realize
He
just
had
signed
no
over.
idea. And I love that Jesse Eisenberg writes like A Real Pain and directs A Real Pain. And he's like, but yes, I will do Now You See Me 3.
Yeah. I mean, that screams like, I will do your studio movie if you let me do my indie movie.
If you will write me a big paycheck.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the last one I've got on here, just to avoid Mortal Kombat 2. That Mortal Kombat movie that came out a few years ago.
They've tried so hard to make Mortal Kombat movies a thing.
It was so bad.
Yeah.
It had like a cool like opening 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then it just became
there's just not
so
I just don't
dumb.
think there's a movie to be made there out of Mortal Kombat. Like I understand the idea because Mortal Kombat was like a phenomenon, and then the '90s movies are just comedies basically, and it's just like you just need to let this go. It's not going to happen. You've tried really hard to make it a thing. It's not a thing.
Yeah, here's my my unpopular opinion, my controversial opinion here. They already made the perfect Mortal Kombat movie. It was that first outing, and it's bad, and it's like I said, it's funny.
Oh yeah,
and I love it. I love all its cheesy weirdness. It's exactly what a Mortal Kombat movie should be.
And now they're doing the whole like we're taking this so seriously,
and it's like this is an inherently dumb concept.
Yeah,
you can't take it so seriously.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Yeah,
I didn't like. Was the last Mortal Kombat movie even that successful that we need a sequel?
It was a streaming movie, so it's one of those you can't really
gauge it.
You know, they'll say, "Oh, it did these numbers," but
they could just literally be making those numbers up.
Yeah. It certainly doesn't take into account, I don't think, things like how many people started the movie and quit it 10 minutes in. Yeah. Which I didn't. I watched the whole thing, and I got to tell you, it just got worse as it went.
Yeah. Yeah, it peaks in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
10 minutes, whatever.
I got to say, two things. There's two movies that are noticeably absent from the 2025 calendar, and it makes me sad. One is the Spider-Verse sequel.
Yeah.
It was supposed to come out like last year, maybe,
Yeah.
or this year. It was supposed to come out this year.
We're way too quick to announce that, I think.
Yeah, well, I mean, when they had done it, I thought, because of the way that they had announced it, that like
it was
they
like already done.
They made both, and they were just like, we're just going to split it and separate them, but they're done. Kind of like, well, something else I'll mention in a minute. But then, then they just kept pushing it off, and now it's it was on my
I
like
don't think it has a release
most
date
anticipated
right now.
of 2024, and now it's not even on the slate for 2025.
It's a bummer. Because I think when they announced that, I think those film is like Chris Lord and they were like, whoa, 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 whoa. Like I think the studio just got way out ahead of it themselves. So yeah.
Yeah. And the other one is Jordan Peele's next project, which
I haven't heard anything about it.
Don't know anything about it. I just remember when we did this for 2024,
It's supposed to be like
there
Christmas.
was an untitled Jordan Peele for the end of the year, and then it got pushed back. I never would have guessed it was just completely off the next year's slate as well.
Yeah.
Now it could still happen. It doesn't
hope
mean
it
it's not
does,
there.
yeah.
It could just pop up like as we get closer to the end of the year. They go,
Yeah.
hey, Jordan Peele's got a movie coming out. So that would be really cool. And I was just bummed to go through the whole list, and I kind of like stopped. I was like, wait, did I just miss? Did I not see
I didn't
Jordan
see it
Peele's
anywhere either.
next movie?
Hope it pops back up.
Yeah. And then one that I'll say is noticeably absent, but those two are ones I'd be really excited about. They'd be on my top tier list. The other one I was just surprised not to see is Horizon Part 2. I'm just surprised that movie...
Is that the movie that's going to be
that
lost?
was supposed to have both parts come out this past year.
Yeah.
They didn't just... They pushed back the sequel. Yeah, and now it's
They're
like...
just not hearing anything about it.
Are they just completely scrapping it? Like, surely it at least comes to a streaming service or something.
Because Horizon
it's done.
Part 1's on Netflix
Yeah.
now. I watched it.
I mean, the movie's made. We've talked about this time. It's so hard to understand a financial model where it's more financially beneficial to just completely scrap a movie than release something that's done and made.
Yeah. It's weird. I don't know. Like, will that movie ever see the light of day? And there's supposed to be a third one.
Yeah.
And a fourth one, I think. I don't know.
Costner certainly had
He was ambitious.
Yeah.
We'll just say that.
2024, we talked about it in the best of pod, like what do we think back on the year? Maybe one of the things we should have said, a lesson of the year was filmmakers beware of your passion project between Megalopolis with Coppola and with Costner doing Horizon. These guys who were like, I'm putting my own money into my movie. Maybe don't.
Don't do it. Save your money.
Maybe there's a reason that
like
the
you've had a good
studios
long
aren't putting
career.
money.
Hold on to your money and just go to a tropical island somewhere.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of a bummer.
It's a bummer.
That said, I don't know that we're getting any. I haven't heard any passion projects unless I don't know. Maybe Anaconda's just Paul Rudd's passion project.
I hope so. I hope so. Is there a new Air Bud movie slated for 2025? Have you heard anything?
I don't know. There should be though.
There should be. Yeah. Maybe that'll be someone's passion. Maybe that'll be our passion project.
There
It'd be like Scorsese or someone. Be like, I'm finally going to do an Air Bud movie. Yeah,
that would be amazing.
And at one point in time, I thought we were going to get a Quentin Tarantino movie, but I haven't not heard anything about that either.
Yeah, because he
scrapped
his idea,
the Critic or something, and it was supposed to be like Tom Cruise was rumored to be in it at one point. I was foaming at the mouth, and then it was just like, oh nope, not going to do that now. He probably, who knows? He probably did some drugs or something, and then just forgot all about it.
Yeah, but again, another one where. Who knows? Maybe we get further in the year, and then all of a sudden it pops up that like, hey, Tarantino's said he's finished his movie. We didn't even know he was shooting. He was doing it in secret. And
once in a blue moon, that kind of stuff happens. So
yeah, no, I just doubt it. It's his next movie is going to be such a big deal because it's supposed to be his last. He said it all along.
He's 10 movies and he's out.
So that one's going to have so much pomp and circumstance around it.
I imagine it'll be some kind of A-list, just numerous A-listers in the movie. And, yeah.
I worry for him for that movie though, because I feel like it's going to carry so much like
anticipation.
Weight.
Yeah.
Where people are like, he's got to go out on such a great note.
It's going to be hard for it not to be
impossible. It's an impossible.
It's never going to live up to expectation type of deal. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, Andy, I think we got plenty to look forward to in 2025.
Listen, as long as we keep doing this, I'm happy.
Thank you, Andy.
That's what I'm looking forward to in 2025, to continue doing this with you.
Thanks, Andy. You know what? Me too. And hopefully just continue to get better.
History has proven that it's just sometimes just as fun to talk about bad movies. So
absolutely.
Maybe we go see I Know What You Did Last Summer and do a whole pod about it.
Absolutely. I'm hoping the pod continues to get better. There's obviously been a lot of change. I still feel like in the early stages of the pod, you know, we've been doing it about a year and a half now, and you can go look at old episodes and they look a lot different.
Right.
And they sound a little different. And just always trying to find ways to make the pod better and more fun and share it with more people. And hopefully more people are finding it and enjoying it and becoming part of our little community of people that talk about movies.
I hope so. I hope 2025 is a great year for movies and for the pod, and can't wait.
Absolutely. We'll talk about what we're doing next time. And I'm not sure what next episode is going to hold, but I got a couple ideas. So whatever it is, whatever we decide, we will be back Sunday. So it'll be a quick turnaround for our next episode.
Yep.
And until then, hope you guys have a great movie watching rest of your week.
Absolutely.